Hi. I love that intro.
Thank you. Thank you. So, welcome to the BU TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Glad
Tonight,
to be
I am here with Antoinette Campbell. She is a forensic scientist. We are going to talk about your organization and your brand. Oh my goodness, I love your shirt, Scientist Join. I'm
here.
just noticing that. Okay.
Thank you.
I love that. I have one that I got. I want to say Fit Join is the name of the brand. She's from Philly.
Yes. Yes.
And I have Teacher Join and Author Join. I love it.
Yeah. So this is one of my hoodies from my brand Street Forensics. So
Okay.
yes.
We're definitely going to talk about that. Tonight, we're talking with Antoinette. We're going to learn all about the field of forensic science. And we're going to talk about, I guess, just everything. I have so many questions. I was looking forward to this interview.
Me too. Because I've been following your organization for years.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
hmm
So listen, I'm gonna tell you, I came across you. I want to say we're both in T-shirt Millionaire. Were you in T-shirt
Oh, okay.
Millionaire?
I didn't know you were in T-shirt millionaires.
So
Okay.
I
Like
was like
Charles.
cohort. I joined in the middle of COVID.
Me too.
So
Oh, wait, you was in the inner circle? The inner circle that he started during COVID?
the inner circle, is
That's
that
what
the
he
name?
called it. That he called it the inner circle. It was
Did we
teacher.
meet every Tuesday night?
Yes.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. So with Tawana and
Yes.
okay. So
I wasn't in the first cohort, so I think that would have been the one after that.
I
So
think I joined, but they were like already in. I came in August of 2020, June of 2020.
okay, I think I came in 2021 maybe,
Okay.
but maybe we've seen each other because
No,
he
I definitely saw you in there. I saw
yeah,
you in the
brought the
in
whole
his platform.
yes, yes,
And so I was attracted to your brand because I believe you have characters too.
yes, I do. Thank
And
you.
I said,
Yeah,
"Oh, I got to get her on the show."
yes,
I said,
yes.
"When I do women, I got to definitely get you on here." So first of all, because we're gonna go. I know this is gonna be a good conversation. Let's
Yeah.
get started. So tell us what you do. Tell us about your organization, and then we're just gonna dive right in.
So I'm a forensic scientist. I've been a forensic scientist for 2 decades. My background is in forensic drug chemistry and forensic quality assurance. I graduated with a chemistry degree from Temple. I was,
Oh, I'm
yes,
telling
are you a Temple mom too? Yes, I was born and raised in Philly. I'm also the founder of the Association of Women in Forensic Science,
you.
Women
Okay.
in Forensics, Street Forensics, and my latest project, Beyond Crime Scenes and Autopsies, which is my speaker series.
Ooh,
And also, I have an after school forensic science club
ooh.
called Philly Forensics. So I've been running all of these programs simultaneously with me working as a forensic scientist for about 11 years. So I've been in forensics for 20 years. I've been doing these programs for 11 years, and I like to focus on youth and
Okay.
exposing them to forensic science. So,
Okay. So first I want to hear about everything.
oh,
But first I need to know what year you graduated from Temple.
I graduated from Temple in 2000. In 2000, and I was hired to work for the forensic lab in 2001. But
Okay.
when I started working as a forensic scientist, it wasn't that like popular to graduate from school with a chemistry degree and go into forensics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a career option that a lot of people don't know about. Although I believe, became syndicated in about 2000. So when I was working in forensics, everybody wasn't trying to get into the forensics field like they are now,
Okay.
because there have been more crime shows that have been syndicated since CSI. So there
So
wasn't that many crime shows. I think CSI may have been like the only popular crime show that was coming on TV. Maybe Forensic Files was on at that time, and at Law and Order, of course. But
right.
Law and Order tends to focus more on the law enforcement side, the police side of, with cops investigating crime. So
So tell first of all, I'm class of 99. Um
okay,
from Temple. I walked in January of 2000.
okay.
Yeah. So we were there the same time. So that's another conversation we'll have.
That's a coincidence that we both from Philly. We went to Temple.
Yeah.
The brands, like you mentioned, are parallel to each other.
How
So
cool is that?
yes.
So listen, maybe it's a Temple thing. I don't know.
Yes. That just means that we have to do a collaboration or something like that.
Definitely. I was going to bring that up anyway. But when you say forensic science, I get two ideas. Like one idea, like before we got on the call, I said like autopsies. Does that fall under forensic science?
It does. Autopsies fall under forensic science because if someone wanted to do autopsies, they would have to go to medical school to be a forensic pathologist.
Okay. And then, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So forensic pathologists, they determine the cause and manner of death. And you have to be a doctor to be a forensic pathologist, medical examiner. And as far as being a forensic scientist, you need a bachelor's in science, or it can be any other STEM field to work in forensics. But I'm often explaining to people the difference between being a forensic scientist and a forensic pathologist, because forensic scientists do not do autopsies unless they've been to medical school and received that specialized pathology training to do autopsies.
Because when you said that, I said, okay, so I get two ideas. I get the autopsy side, but then I get like the computer chips and the cell phones and fingerprints and hair follicles and so do you do that side?
You know your stuff. So I haven't done that side. So those are different fields in forensic science. So what you mentioned is aligned with digital forensics.
Okay.
Also those fields in forensics that are the technology fields that investigates digital crime, like they call it cybercrime. And then you have latent print examiners. They are the ones that examine fingerprints. So those are also different types of forensic scientists. So what I've done for the past years, I'm not in the lab anymore, but for a long time, I've analyzed controlled and non-controlled substances, AKA street drugs, prescription drugs that are diverted from the streets and people use them illegally. So I've seen and analyzed a lot of drugs, and that's called forensic drug chemistry. So I'm a forensic scientist, but my background is in forensic drug chemistry. So you can also say forensic drug chemist too.
So what do you do? So when you say analyze?
So say, for example, if someone violates a drug law, commit a crime where they're selling, distributing, they break a drug law, that evidence is transported over to the chemistry laboratory, and then a chemist who would also be a forensic scientist, they would have to analyze that evidence to determine if it's a controlled substance or not. So you have controlled substances that are illegal. There are many drug laws, like state laws, state drug laws, federal drug laws. So that determines what type of time that person would get, like what they would get and what their jail time would look like, or prison or whatever like that. Mandatory minimum drug laws to coincide with that.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So when you're forensic science, do you have to be in law enforcement or attached to law enforcement, or can you be attached to like other fields?
So that's a good question. So when someone wants to be a forensic scientist, they can either work at a crime lab that is attached to a police department, or they can work, they could work for like a private laboratory that's not attached to a law enforcement agency. They can work for a government lab. They can work for a state lab. You have fields like, say, for example, a medical legal death investigator. That is a different type of forensic scientist, but that falls within the medical discipline of forensics, and they work closely with forensic pathologists. So they tend to work alongside the medical examiners, or they work at the medical examiner's office. So with forensic science, because it's such a broad field and there are many subdisciplines that you can work, you don't just have to work with a police department, depending on where you what you get your degree in, like what type of discipline you want to go into.
And that's what I was going to ask you next, because did you say I want to go to school to be a forensic scientist, or how did you end up?
That's a good question. I never knew that I didn't have that on my radar to be a
Okay.
forensic scientist. I was always interested in being a journalist. I wanted to be a computer scientist. So I loved to write growing up and I loved computers.
Okay.
So how I ended up majoring in chemistry at Temple, which was very hard, by the way, and it was a struggle to be a chemistry major in Temple, especially as like, being in a department where you didn't see a lot of Black people majoring in chemistry. And I chose forensics by accident. I landed in the field by accident because I attended a college fair at Temple. I believe it was in my junior or senior year, and the Philadelphia Water Department was there. So at that time, I thought that my only option was to be an analytical chemist working for a pharmaceutical company. So I thought I was going to go down that path. And then I ended up finding out that when you apply for a civil service position as a chemist, you also can apply to, you get considered by the health water or the police department. So it worked out for me because I was already working as a pharmacy technician and I was a pre-pharmacy minor majoring in chemistry. So I thought I was going to go and, down that pharmacology. I was interested in pharmacology, and I became interested in how drugs affect the body, like how it affects someone psychologically and physiologically. And so then I end up finding out that I could get a job with the crime lab, and then I end up getting hired. So, and then I loved working there and doing the type of work that I was doing. And then from there, I ended up there. Mm-hmm.
So wait, did you know Sharice Bino? I believe she was a chemistry major. Sharice from New York.
She was at Temple.
Mm-hmm.
I probably know her by face. I think if I see her, I know who she is, because it was only a handful of Black people, chemistry majors at Temple. I mean, and it was rough. Like it was rough.
I want to ask you, how was it?
It was rough. I mean, I didn't feel like there was enough support. I mean, there were certain professors that were supportive that, that stuck out to me, like as I remember them now. But being at Temple, majoring in chemistry, it's not like it is now, where you see all of these programs everywhere, STEM programs, STEM this, STEM that, STEM that. And also too, like back then, STEM wasn't a buzzword back then. It wasn't even a word that was used. So I'm already a scientist working in forensics, and I'm hearing a lot about STEM. I'm like, what is STEM? Oh, science, technology, engineering, math. That's what they're calling it. Like, they didn't call it anything. It's just an acronym for the subjects in STEM, and then they added the A for STEAM. And it just felt like it became like this trend for.
What's the A again? I forget what the A is.
Art.
Okay.
And but back when I was majoring in chemistry, I'm not going to say there weren't any programs out there to support youth who want to be in science. They were out there. It's just a matter of you knowing about them.
Okay. Well, and I talk about that a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing now. Like, there's so many programs out here. It's not like there are a shortage of these programs that are not exposing boys and girls to STEM. It's how do they find out about these programs? How is this information getting disseminated to them through the schools? How are the parents going to find out about them? So yeah, that's why it was very hard, because I didn't grow up with a mentor or having that support. When I was first generation college graduate, my mom and dad, they didn't graduate high school. They didn't graduate college. So my mom did get her GED, but I felt like I was figuring it out on my own a lot.
I can see that. I can see how I talk a lot about that, like access. There are programs out there, but we don't always know about them or have access to them. And so I'm glad you mentioned that because you have a program.
Mm-hmm.
So what does your program do?
So I have an after-school program. It's called Club Philly Forensics.
I'm writing that down because I'm
Thank
going
you.
to
uh, Club, yep, Club Philly Forensics.
and it's an after school program?
Yes, it's an after-school program for ages 12 through 18. It's for boys and girls.
Okay.
People assume it's just for girls because it's under the Women in Forensics umbrella, but it is for boys and girls.
Okay.
And I started the program because I would get so many people, and especially teenagers and kids, everyone that I come across asking about forensics and what it's like, where they have to start. So in the after school program, I do hands-on forensic science activities with them. I have a lot of friends who are also forensic science professionals, and they would come and teach different workshops.
Okay.
So I had people teaching DNA, crime scene investigation, forensic document examination, and we would simulate all of the activities for them because we don't use real evidence. Some people will expect for us to use real stuff. No, we don't use real anything. We simulate everything for them so they can get the real, as close as they can, the real experience to what it would be like to work in a forensic lab. And then we don't just do experiments with them. We talk about we do mock cases, and I teach them like about how to get prepared for forensics, like what they should be doing in middle school and high school.
Right. So
they
what
can
should they be doing?
I think that if they want to be a forensic scientist, they should get involved in science programs.
Okay.
Any science after school program. They should, get involved with any science clubs at their school. They should really start paying attention in lab, like when they're doing experiments in school. They should really pay attention to that because it's not much different than if you work in a forensics lab or any laboratory. You're using the scientific method when you are working as a forensic scientist too. Also for them to just continue to read a lot.
Okay.
And to write, because you do write a lot. You write a lot of science reports when you work in forensics.
Okay.
You have to testify in court a lot when you're in forensics. So if they can get involved in any like the mock trials that schools may have for them, or if they can even get involved in what else, like volunteering with their local police district or something like that. And yeah, so
what school are you in?
With school?
Yeah.
Oh, right now I'm not in the school because of COVID.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's online?
So the Philly Forensics program was in person.
Okay.
I'm going to do a spring virtual Club Philly Forensics program probably around like May or June or something like that. And I'm gonna post a registration. So I did something last summer for Club Philly Forensics online to get some kids involved with it online because I was so used to being in person with Club Philly Forensics, and they got sent some boxes with activities and a shirt, a t-shirt. Yeah, so right now I'm not doing Club Philly Forensics probably in person. I have to see if I could find a space because I'm mobile, so I don't have my own building yet or anything like that.
Are you familiar with OutSchool?
No, not.
School. Look into Out. I'm sorry. Look into Out. Listen, he's my coworker. I thought I closed the door. I forgot to close the door.
Yes, that's why I love kids. I see how he wants your attention.
Yeah, OutSchool is good because you can teach like a science program, not even a whole program. It can be a workshop, a course. You can have one session, you can have multiple sessions. You can even do it where you have I forget the name, flex session. So you can have a recorded session and just run it like multiple times.
Yes.
OutSchool. Look into OutSchool.
So OUTSCHOOL.
Yeah.
OutSchool. Okay. I'm gonna write that
down. It's a lot, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a market for it because my niece, she started a science program last year, and it continued this year. It's virtual. So they send her a box, and then they tell them, and they have like a bunch of different baggies with all their materials in it. And they'll
Yes.
say, today we need bag number 42, or today we need bag number
Yes.
12.
Yes.
And whatever is in bag number 12, that's what they're going to use in
Yes.
that session.
Yes.
And when I tell you, I went over and I was trying to like help her with multiplication. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, what time are you going to be finished? Because my club starts. So she was excited. Like she wanted to get on the computer.
Yes.
My
Okay.
club.
Yes. I'm definitely gonna look. I'll look into that because I was I do Club Philly Forensics. When I first did it virtually, I did it on Zoom and I sent them the boxes with the materials in it. So that way when they did the lessons, they just had to pull the stuff out the box. So
Right.
it seemed like they liked, that concept, like the way it was laid out. So I'm definitely gonna check them out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely look into that. And then you said you had a brand. What's your brand?
My brand?
Yeah,
Oh, so my t-shirt brand is called Street Forensics. That's the name
I
of the
love that.
Oh, you do? Thank you so much.
That's so
I came from you because you real into your branding.
like, but that has like some, street forensics. That has some swag, some spice to it. I like it.
That's exactly why I named it Street Forensics. So it's streetforensics.com, and the logo is a graffiti logo.
Yeah.
I came up and then, I'm a Gen Xer, came up in the 90s with the graffiti. I love hip hop and I'm from Philly and everything with Philly is so gritty and
Yeah.
I love colors and crime. When I think of crime or people think of crime, they think of the streets. So that's why one of my hoodies and t-shirts is Science is John. And then I have different collections under there. So I do have characters as well. So I have character forensic scientists and they're brown girls because
I know. So tell us about that. Do you have anything with you to hold up?
I have it downstairs. I'm sorry, I should have had it with me.
I'll post it. I'll go back and post it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love cartoons. When I was younger, I used to draw. So I love art. I love to draw. And I love to come up with concepts for designs. I feel like I'm real gifted when it comes to coming up with like designs for t-shirts or something like that and characters and coming up with a story. So but I wanted them to be Black because I don't see any Black forensic scientists or scientists on t-shirts that is stylish, like needing to kind of add that to what you wear and express through what you wear. So yeah, I have different characters, Junior Forensic Squad. Then I have a forensic scientist. I have a forensic anthropologist on the shirt, a biologist, a scientist. And then I have statement tees. So I want a mixture of characters on t-shirts and statement tees.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so I have like Beyond Crime Season Autopsy shirt. That's actually the speaker series that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have forensic science professionals come and talk about what they do, but it's open to the community so they can learn about forensics. So that's a shirt. I also have a shirt called Science Changes Things. And because when I think of science has changed a lot in my life and a lot of other people's lives because science is all around us. Like we can't do anything in life without science being a part of it. Like when we cook and transportation, it's all science. So I have a shirt, Science Changes Things. I also have
I like that.
It says underprivileged, underrepresented, and I have it crossed out and say scientists because that whole underprivileged and underrepresented, you hear that so much as a Black scientist. We're always labeled as being underprivileged and underrepresented for the reasons that they say because they don't see us a lot being represented. But when people ask you, they're always giving you a title of being that. Then I made a shirt like that. So I like my shirts to be witty too, and kind of say different things.
So you're super creative.
Yes.
Yeah, you sound busy, like you have a lot going on, which is good.
Yes.
That's good. So how do you feel like your brand, your after school program, your organization, how do you feel like that can help change the landscape of
Mhm.
forensic science?
I think it could change the landscape because I would like to say, well, women in forensics is global. So I have people from all over the world that come to my speaker series. I have a lot of people all over the world that reach out to me with questions about forensics because many people they don't know what forensic science can do
Mm-hmm.
for saving lives and for solving crime, for wrongful convictions. We're also connected to the criminal justice system. So many people get their information about forensics from television because that's all that there is to show what we do. But I feel like it would change the landscape because I'm actually exposing young people to forensics at an earlier age so they don't have to wait until they get to college or graduate school. I feel like they should be introduced to these things before they get to college and graduate school so they can decide on whether they want to do that or not. And also forensics is for all ages. Anybody can get involved in be interested in forensics.
That's what I was just thinking about because I'm like, okay, when you think about the after school program, who wouldn't get interested because it's fun? Like, who doesn't want to like look at like
Mm-hmm.
DNA, like fingerprints or like skin or I don't know something? And I just think in an after school setting that would be exciting, that would
Mm-hmm.
be intriguing, and then once you find something that you like as a kid, normally it sticks with you, and it's like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a scientist just because they did this after school program. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's cool.
Thank you. I agree.
So what are you working on now?
So what I'm working on now is rolling out like more merch for street forensics, like trying to create more things that I want to put into the store. Also upkeeping that part. I'm working on the Club Fully Forensics program to be virtual for the spring, summer. I'm also constantly.
I gotta talk about that off.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. You're busy too. I see you. I be seeing your ads all over. Like you're busy. Yeah, we
I'm
definitely.
trying.
No, you're more than trying. I see your ads. Every time I see your ads, I love your ads.
Oh, thank
Love
you.
your brand. I love what you're doing because I don't see a lot of Black women who are doing these type of brands like you. Like you have a program. You're like building an empire for BeYOU. You have a YouTube channel, then you have merch, then you have your programs, then you have all of these things going on. So
And I
mhm.
feel like our brands overlap.
Yeah,
And I know sometimes, when somebody sees somebody doing something similar, they might feel like it's a competition or, oh, she's doing what I'm doing. I can't talk to her
oh
because
no.
they're going to think I'm copying. I'm like, as soon as I saw you, I said, oh, you got to come on the show. We got to talk.
Yes,
Isis is our science character. She's doing chemistry.
I saw.
And I'm like, okay, Isis needs to meet.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
I
I'm sorry, what are the kids called again? This
I saw Junior Forensic Squad is actually
Junior
a
Forensic
squad.
Science.
Yeah, it's a brand within itself, but it sits under Street Forensics, and I plan to branch that out more with Junior Forensic Squad. And yeah.
But you said you write too. You
Oh yeah. Oh, so I used to write for a forensic magazine. I used to have a blog back in the day. I used to profile women in forensics, and
have
I
you
wrote
thought about
articles.
turning your characters into a story?
Yeah, I would love to. I created Junior Forensic Squad specifically based on them being more and doing more with them because they have a background of how they became a squad. But right now it's a shirt, but it's actually a storyline with them.
Yeah.
And then the other characters, I wanted to bring them out too. They don't have any names; they're just like standalone characters. But Junior Forensic Squad is definitely the brand that I intend to do more with. And
Definitely a market there.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
it's teenagers who helps to solve crime, and
right.
they met at Club Philly Forensics, and they help to solve crime. They all have different interests in science. One of them is autistic, but he's really good in science.
Okay.
And They grew up in Philly, but they witnessed a lot of gun violence and crime, and they want to do something about it. But although they're young, you use your imagination, just like you watch cartoons and you see kids science, although you know that's not real, but you use your imagination as a kid would to see these young kids helping to solve crime because they're tired of witnessing crime. Like we're seeing in Philadelphia, like all we see is gun violence is crazy here, so.
And I'm in the schools, and I'm the dean of students, and I deal with like a lot of the trauma basically caused by a lot of the stuff going on in the city. But I see a whole package for you, like a whole, because if you're doing an after school program, yeah. I see your characters, I see videos, I see like little like not a magazine, but something.
Yes, I would. It's so much that I'm doing now and I would love to do, but I feel like you say, like you start to have to bring people on to help you.
Yeah.
Because it's only but so much you can do. Mm-hmm. And I always have ideas. Like my mind is always full of ideas. I don't know. It's just something that I've been like a God-given talent.
Yeah.
Like God put on me to do these things and create and to lead and sometimes it's overwhelming, but
I was just about to say that.
It is overwhelming sometimes, but then I have to tell myself, like, multitasking is not always a good thing. Like, we've been raised to think that multitasking is something that we're supposed to do. Like, it makes you like this superwoman if you know how to multitask, but actually I've learned how to just do one thing at a time. There's nothing wrong with just doing one thing and not multiple things, because if you're doing multiple things, you can't focus on that one thing. You're constantly here, there. And it could lead to burnout. I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah. I've been there too. Last week I had a chat. Our guest was Kalia Deborah. Okay. She's my business coach. And
I have to talk to you about that too, off of camera.
Watch our last episode, because like you, I'm a creative. And like you, I feel like it's a blessing. Like all of these ideas, they come to me. Somebody will say, well, how did you come up with it? And I'm like, oh, I was taking a shower and then it just, or I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books. Sometimes I hear one thing and it snowballs into something else. What she helps me do, Kalia, is she helps me synthesize those ideas. Because sometimes you'll have so many ideas and you start this and then you start this. And like you said, nothing gets completed.
Yes.
But with her, I meet with her monthly. I literally go through she lets me like have put all my ideas out there. This is what I'm thinking of. This is what I'm working on. And then we list it. And then I prioritize. And then I table some things, because everything doesn't have to happen just because you thought of it. But I wrote it down. But I'm gonna deal with that because I have to do it. And she calls them SOPs, standard operating procedures. So like the email that you get when I send the welcome email, all of that. She helped me come up with all of that, just to be organized.
Well, she's doing an amazing job with what she's helping you with, because you're very like on point.
And some of it is on autopilot because it's already done.
I saw as soon as I submitted my stuff, I received an auto email, and then I received another auto email. And that's something I always, was interested in. That's how I started off with, getting the word out there before social media was email marketing. And I still rely heavily on email marketing, also email automations.
Yeah.
That's something that I have to sit down and always go back to the email to automate the emails, because it takes a lot off of you when you're not constantly type. That's something that I always, I just need to improve on that and keep on top of the automations and stuff.
Yeah. It's
but I definitely have to talk to you, because I like I said, like when you are running your own programs and you're the one that's leading the way, and people relying on you and they depend on you, and they are looking for you to do stuff, that means you have to always be organized. You have to show up. You have to be consistent, and that's something that I'm always, just mindful of.
Yeah.
You know.
So listen, we have to chat off scene.
Yes,
Because I want to talk to you about your
yes,
science
I want to
program.
talk to you too.
But before we hop off, already it's been 40 minutes.
It don't even seem like we've been talking for 40 minutes.
And that always happens.
But that's a good thing. That means you interview well.
And listen, I was excited to chat with you because it's such an interesting topic and we don't hear a lot about it. And I can talk about this with my students. I can share parts of our interview with my students when I'm having conversations with them. And I want to get more information about your app, your virtual program, because
thank you.
That's
I'm a check out school. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, listen, it's time for the lightning round.
Okay.
It's about 5 or 6 quick questions. I got a good one too for the last one that I told you about. But real quick, texting or talking?
Talking.
Really? Okay, okay. I text. I like to text.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite day of the week?
My favorite day of the week is Friday.
Mm-hmm. Favorite city?
My favorite city. That's a tough one. I don't think I have a favorite city.
Okay. I can see that. What about your nickname? What's your nickname?
Tony.
Tony?
Yes.
Last song you listened to?
Man, last song I listened to. I love music because that's so therapeutic for me. Oh my goodness. I was listening to that's so hard. I was listening to some R&B in the car.
Okay.
Foreign Exchange and different songs like Neo Soul and things like that. Yes.
So here's the forensic question. But I'm not sure it falls under what your line is specifically, but if you could go through someone's cell phone, famous, anybody's, for an investigation, whose would it be?
If I could go through anyone's cell phone?
Anyone famous, past, present, future.
Oh man, I can go through anyone's cell phone. To like see their contacts and what they do on their cell phone or something like that? Oh, I would have to say Oprah. I love her.
Okay. Well, listen, it was so fun chatting with you tonight. But don't hop off when I log off. I'm gonna chat for you for 2 seconds after the broadcast. But it was great having you on here. And I'm gonna post all your links. I'm gonna go back and add all your links, and I'm gonna share an image from your brand because I like it.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. This was fun.
Did you know Deanna?
Yes, Deanna did all my logos.
Okay, she does all my look. She did this one. Let me see if light bulb literacy. She does all my logos.
Deanna is the truth. Deanna, I've been using Deanna for many years. She's done flyers. She's done 2 of my logos, 2 of my main logos. I mean, yeah, she's the truth.
That's because I remember I had said something and you had commented and you were like, and it felt real familiar. And I was like, they must know each other.
Oh, she did Women in Forensics and Club Philly Forensics. She done my flyers. I mean, Women in Forensics. Yeah, recent during COVID, I had her do that for me. And yeah, she's the
dope.
Yeah,
she's good. She's very good at what she does.
And looking at your stuff, like that's how I found out about your brand was through Deanna. I think I saw you on Deanna's portfolio.
Oh, okay.
I think and you shared it on her page because you do subscription boxes too, right?
I started out. We've evolved since.
Exactly. I remember you starting off with subscription boxes, the boxes, and I said that is so dope because I think about doing subscription boxes, but it just seems like it's a lot that goes into it that I have to learn.
I would not do subscription boxes again.
Okay, and I saw it. Yeah, okay.
You
So,
could do science boxes though, like
okay.
themed boxes, like especially because you do the forensics. So like how you said, like DNA and
Right,
stuff
yes.
like that. Maybe you could do. I know I did an interview last year. I can't remember her name. I'm horrible with names, but she had a cupcake box and she had like the ingredients, and she was a science person too,
Right.
like STEAM.
That sounds
She
great.
had the ingredients for all of your like unicorn cupcakes. Then she had
Mm,
like a fun activity. She had the ingredients and the direct like the recipe, like with the steps to do.
I love that.
It was cute. It was
Yeah.
really cute. So that's another thought. Look, like you need another idea, but look,
Yeah.
it's a good one.
Yeah, I'll think about that. I've been thinking about boxes, but again, like you say, some things you have to table, and
Yeah,
that's one of those things that's tabled right now. It's just because it's in my thoughts.
right. Well, wait, we can keep chatting, but guys, thank you for logging on because
Okay, I'm
sorry,
sorry.
and that's fine. That's fine. I
Yeah.
want to chat when we finish, but I just want to say good night to everyone who's watching. Thank you for logging in. Share this with your friends, and if you're interested in learning more about forensic science, you can always reach out to Antoinette. You know what I'll do? I'll add your social media links on
Okay.
this post. And thank you guys. I'm
Thank
gonna
you
log off. Have a good night.
so much for watching. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.